Hello, my name is George Laranja.
American 11, are you trying to call?
The cockpit is not answering their phone. Our number 1 has been staffed and our 5 has been staffed.
Hey, I'm going to call from Washington. I am in a situation with American 11, a possible hijack.
What's going on, Betty? Aircraft is erratic again. Problems are erratic.
Hello, my name is George Laranja. I'm here interviewing my mother, Julia Laranja, for my 9/11 interview. Before we begin, do I have your verbal consent?
Yes.
Okay. Where were you during the 9/11 attacks?
I was actually in France. I was studying abroad. I was in college. I was at the University of Perpignan, which is in the very south of France. And there's a 6-hour time difference between here and there. And so I went to class in the morning, and then afterwards I went to class in the afternoon at my professor's house. And we were there at the professor's house, and her husband came in and said, "There's been a terrorist attack on actually, I don't remember his words exactly, but he said it to us in French, and we were all just kind of baffled. And so we thought maybe we misunderstood. And so she quickly translated for us and told us that there was 2 planes had crashed into the Twin Towers in New York, and we were just kind of all in disbelief. And we didn't think too much about it. We just thought maybe it was a hoax or something, and we continued with our class. And then later on, I went home, and after I got back home to my host mom's house, the neighbor came over and she had said, "Hey, did you hear about it? Do you want to come watch the TV?" Because we were watching it in French, and some of us hadn't been there for very long, and the gal that I was there with from the university was not very fluent in French at all, and so she just didn't understand any of it because it was all just being cast on the TV in French. And so the neighbor invited us over. She's like, "I have CNN. It's in English if you want to come watch it." And there was another gal that was studying from the U.S. as well. And so we just sat there on the couch and just watched it. And we were just stunned. We just couldn't even believe it. So yeah, it was pretty shocking. And it was hard because we were so far away, and we were almost disconnected. And so I tried to call my dad to find out, because I knew I had family in New York. And when the second one crashed in Pennsylvania, I knew that was right by where my aunt was. So I was super panicky about that. And I tried to call home, but none of the phone lines would work. So that was kind of scary.
Why weren't they working? Was it just like power lines hit or something?
We didn't know at the time. So everyone was trying to call home. And the whole entire time I was there, I was never able to place a call from my host mom's house. Actually, nobody even had home phones at the time, and very few people had cell phones. Mm-hmm. And so my parents would try and call from time to time throughout the time before this happened, and they could never get a hold of her, and the call wouldn't go through. But my dad was able to leave a message for my host mom and said, this is Jim. I'm Julie's mom. I'm Julie's dad, and everyone is okay." So that was relieving, because I couldn't directly call them, because I was, like I said, super concerned about my family in New York and family in Pennsylvania, and it was, like I said, right by them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was just, and then after I came home and found out that was the same, it wasn't just like, because they were calling from France, it was everyone else. And when we came home and talked about it, they were like, "Yeah, that's what happened. Everybody was trying to call everybody. It was just an influx of too many calls coming through."
So, how much time did it take from the planes being hit to you finding out that there was an attack?
It was hard to tell, because after lunchtime was when we found out, but that was still 6 o'clock in the morning. So it was later on in the day. It was sometime around the afternoon. It was pretty immediate, I guess, because it was like national news. So it wasn't just isolated to the U.S. I think as soon as the U.S. found out, they just kind of broadcast it everywhere, especially with CNN and everyone having it.
Mm-hmm. Did the French government do anything about it, like for the U.S.?
Not really that I can remember. I know our university program was concerned because we had all these U.S. students in the area, and the where we were in France had a huge high population of Muslim concentration, and they were afraid that they were going to be I don't know what they were afraid of, but they were afraid that there was going to be something because there was some kind of Muslim connection there. But we frequented the Muslim markets, and it was never an issue. Like, everyone was very kind and respectful. And then after that time, like, we would go back to the markets and people would say, "Oh, you're American. I'm so sorry. Like, how did this happen? And, you know, did anyone that you know, or was anyone hurt that you know in your family?" Or so they were very compassionate and understanding. I don't remember if the French government did anything in particular. They originally thought they were going to send us home, but then when all the flights were grounded, it was just impossible. So even if the university had decided to pull the program and send us home, it was impossible because all of the flights were grounded.
So you said you have, like, near the field where the plane crashed?
Yes, so my aunt and uncle live approximately 20 minutes from where the one in Pennsylvania crashed down, and my aunt and uncle have been several times now to where the site was and where they have the memorial, and I haven't made it out there yet, but yeah, they were aware. They said that they could actually see the smoke billowing from there, and that people were like swarming to the site to see it, and you couldn't even get close to it because weeks later they were able to drive by and see it, and it was just, you could just see the devastation where the plane just like ripped up the earth. It was pretty crazy.
So when did you get home from?
So I was there from August through December, and I was supposed to come back. So everyone else in the university came back December 18th or so, and I was scheduled to come back because I was in a choir that was doing a performance. I changed my ticket to come back later than that. And so I came home December 21st. And crazy enough, the flight, so the reason that we now have to take our shoes off in the airport is because there was a flight that left out of Paris the day before I did. And the guy had the bomb in his shoes.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I missed that by a day. And so my friends also missed that by about 2 days too. And so everyone's always like, "Why do we have to take our shoes off?" I was like, well, I know why, because I missed a flight. Like, I was the day apart from the guy that had a bomb in his shoe. So
Did it go off?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a bomb in his shoe, and that's why now you take your shoes off and they go through x-rays.
What do you know about the Pentagon attacks?
I'm not as familiar with that one. I don't have anyone directly related to that one. I do remember it was just, from hearing about it. I remember distinctly watching the one in New York. I don't remember the Pentagon one as distinctly. It was all just kind of a blur because it just seemed so impossible. I mean, we weren't there to experience it, and it just seemed fake, like something you would see out of a movie. And, the planes were like, these two planes just crashed in New York. And then, there's this other one that crashes in Pennsylvania. And it's like, what is happening? Where is it happening next? And, then with the Pentagon, it was like, oh my goodness, we're completely under attack. And so I was almost thankful that I wasn't in the U.S. because at least, I knew it was a little bit safer, as crazy as that sounds.
So what does the 9/11 attacks mean to you?
It means just, a day to remember the people that, were impacted by that, and the bravery of a lot of the people that stood up, especially the people that ended up in Pennsylvania, being able to take control of the situation and being able to kind of stand up and say, we know that we're going to take control of how this path is going to end up. Like, we know that this is a bad situation, and, we're going to take it into our own hands to change the trajectory of this horrible, awful thing. And, you know, just all the people that stood up. And I wasn't there to witness it. What was mostly shocking to me when I came back home in December was just like all the American flags everywhere. Like the whole place was inundated. And people said, yeah, you should have seen it before. You know, you should have seen it. People have taken them down now in December, but it was like, as soon as it happened, it was just everywhere. And so I didn't really get to see that or experience that. And also several people had said that, you know, schools were closed. Everything was closed. Everything shut down. And that didn't happen in France. I was shocked to find that out when I came back home and we talked about it and relived it. And they were like, yeah, we didn't go to school for this many days. We, you know, we're doing this, that, and the other. And like, just nobody did anything. And it was just really shocking because I was shocked to find that out. I just didn't know that that's what happened because that wasn't what happened in France.
It was a great coming together of our nation.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you for participating in this interview.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening.